Good day, folks. It's Tony Fortunato from the technology firm. I want to walk you through a simple little exercise, how to verify it and why it matters. So we've got a bunch of cameras here streaming a whole bunch of video, audio, and there's a whole bunch of other devices on this other end, IoT devices. Some of them are wireless, some of them are wired. The wireless guys is the one I want to concentrate on, this one camera, 10.44, 10.66. He's wireless, which goes to this one wireless access point, which goes to the switch in another building, which is cabled back to the main core switch, but I've broken that connection. And I've inserted my network critical SmartNA. So it goes into that port, out of that port, back here, and life goes on. I am sitting here on my monitor port, and I want to capture packets from this guy. So here's the deal. When you do this type of capturing, you always have to be careful because you might be capturing 10, 20 gigabytes of data, and then you've got to try to filter that out later. And if it doesn't work, then you got to somehow do some filters at the command line, and it's just a pain. So what I want to do is create a filter right here on the packet broker, right here. So he's going to filter it out so I don't get everything on my interface. It's going to help a lot, all right? The other way to do this is obviously a capture filter on your device. But again, if there's a ton of data hitting your NIC, you may be dropping packets. So you really got to be careful about that. So the first thing I want to do is go to Wireshark. So you get a little bit of Wireshark tips and tricks as well. Let me just drag it over here. So there's Mr. Wireshark. Let me just stretch him out. There we go. I'm just going to start a capture. There's the interface. Click, click. And everything's coming through the wire, right? So the first thing I want to do is statistics and conversations. I want to verify that I'm getting a whole bunch of conversations from a whole bunch of devices other than 66. And if I go to IP, you can see there's a whole bunch of them, right? Not just 66. So there you go. I'm happy. And we're going to validate all of this after our change as well, by the way. So that's statistics. IO graphs will give you a cool little graph showing you, in this case, how many packets per second is flying through here. 2,000, and you can see it kind of, spiking around. Every once in a while it goes up to, what was that, 4,500, so on and so on. But this is going to be our baseline. So as we make the changes, this should drop, right? So let's go to our SmartNA, and this is the way it looks. This is the switch in the core. That's the access switch out in the building, and that's me. So basically it's a two-step process. All I have to do is click here on this white area, and then there's filters. Add a filter. I'm going to call it 66 because that's the host we're concentrating on. Packet type is going to be ipv4. Go down to IP addressing. Again, ipv4 addressing, pardon me. Match either end. And I'm simply going to type in. There you go. Add a filter. It's not done yet. So now I've created my filter. Now I just have to apply it. If I come over to this little green map, these little green line here, click. You can see it says define a new filter. We're not going to do that. We already have a filter, 66, and by default it's being ignored by default. So let's require. Bang, done. Last thing we're going to do is review and apply the changes with this specific device. You have to do that. Now it's going to apply the changes. We're going to zip back to Wireshark, and there's our current traffic load, and you can see it dropped. See that? So now it's 1,000-ish. Right? So it's about half the amount of traffic, which is pretty cool. The other thing I'm going to do is close this down because I verify there's less traffic. I'm going to go back to Wireshark and I'm going to restart the capture by hitting the little green fin here, restart. And I'm going to go back to that conversation report and IPv4. And I want to make sure there's just 66 on there. And there's 66 talking to this guy. 66 talking to this guy. And I had a stray one from before. I'll cut it a little bit of slack. But right now you can see the majority of the traffic is right here, 91 and 66, but considerably less traffic, right? So this will save you a ton of time when you capture. If you're going to filter on a Mac or an IP or whatever, there's lots of options in that screen. I just want to show you how to get started and how to create a basic filter. Have a good day, folks. Bye for now.